Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ep.1, a motivational podcast. My name is Nathan.
I'm Logan.
I am an 18-year-old finishing up his final semester of high school, and I've really been focusing on self-improvement and motivation for about the last 6 months now.
My name's Logan again. I'm 22 years old. I work at Toyota Motor Manufacturing, Indiana. I graduated from Vincent's University, and I'm also into many motivational things, self-improvement, self-awareness books, and constantly trying to improve myself. And I'm also I guess you could say, wannabe entrepreneur who has been trying many different options to make passive income. So we're just here to talk about some resolutions.
Logan is actually the person that has really roped me into the whole self-improvement and motivation. And I guess I say that as a negative thing, but it's actually very good because ever since we've really started doing this, I get to see myself becoming so much better after doing things. And you really just learn a lot about yourself when you really focus on your mind and how it works and what goes on in your mind.
Exactly. And we're pretty early in the process of, I guess you could say, self-improvement and anything of things like that. So I guess we could say we don't have much credentials for this, but you are on the journey with us if you're listening to this. So we're, I guess, growing at the same time. So we can learn together, and hopefully you can learn a few things from us as well.
Yes, that is a very good point. Don't take every single thing we say as absolute truth and nothing but the truth.
Yeah, we're just having a conversation and you're listening to it. All five of you.
Pretty much. I mean, if we're being 100% honest with ourselves, there's probably not going to be a lot of people watching this. So if you're watching, thank you. We appreciate you. And today we're really going to focus on resolutions and what they are, why neither one of us are really a big fan of them. So the definition of a resolution is a firm decision to do or not to do something. And I think we were talking right before we started here. I think one of the big things is it's not just what you are going to do. It's things you cannot do while trying to improve yourself. It's not always, I have to do these 500 things. You can also narrow it down to things you cannot do or should not do if you want to live a better life.
Exactly. And it's a firm decision. Really, the definition makes it sound like it's a great thing, but the world and society has changed it into just a joke, honestly. And it sounds better than a goal. I don't know exactly what the definition of a goal is, but it sounds great. Like, it's a firm decision not to do something. Like, you're deciding you're going to do this. But the issue is that firm decision people make is normally not a firm decision, and it's turned into a joke.
Yeah, exactly. It goes from, hey, my New Year's resolution is go to gym 3 times a day every week for the rest of the year. I'm going to get so strong. I'm going to be so awesome. You wake up day 4, you're feeling great. You're on the resolution high. You're feeling awesome. And then week 2 or 3 rolls around, and you're like, well, this bed's really comfortable. And then you just wasted $40 on a membership, and you're really just lying to yourself, telling yourself that what I'm doing is going to help me, and then you just give up and act like it's not a big deal. I did find out that a goal is a pair or post linked by a crossboard that is the goal of a football field. I was like, what?
Anyways.
Definition number 2, the object of a person's ambition or effort, an aim or a desired resolution or result.
That's much better. The first one was funny, though.
Yeah, one of the big things that me and him really focused on with resolutions is just how much of like a joke that it's turned into, and how you get, you share on your Facebook page and you get 20 likes of you really letting yourself down is what you're doing. You set up your mind and your effort and your body to say, hey, I'm going to make myself better this year. I'm going to do it for all 12 months, whatever it takes. Nothing stopping me. And then you give up. And you're really just creating a mindset of, oh, it's okay to give up on things because I'm not strong enough to continue through the adversity.
Right. And I understand why that happens. Why people think they give up easily, why they make it a joke, is because, deep down, these people, they really want to do these things. They set them for a reason. You just don't just set them just for no reason. They set them deep down for a reason. But they give up because it's easy to. It's easy to give up. obviously, and it feels better whenever you post something, other people can see it and they can relate to you, so you don't feel as bad because, hey, other people are doing it. It's okay that it's happening to me. So that's why it feels okay for people to do that. But deep down, you're setting yourself back. You're not getting any better. You're not growing. You're only hurting yourself. It might feel okay. You might push it off like it's nothing. But, I mean, you're just hurting yourself. It's not funny. It's just a big joke. You're just letting yourself down. And you're just hurting yourself. You may not even be realizing it since everybody else is, it's okay. It happens,
Yeah, I think a big point on that is the quick moment of self-happiness you can give yourself by, instead of thinking, man, I just gave up on my goal. Because for me, a lot of my life, I'd tell myself, hey, I'm going to set this resolution. I'm going to hang on to it. I'm going to do it all year. And then when I stop doing it, whenever you realize you don't do it, you're like, man, I just kind of let myself down there. But then you realize, hey, but this meme's funny. Maybe if other people laugh at it, everybody else fails on their goals. So it's not just me. So it's not really that big of a deal.
Right.
But then, because I don't know, I've never met a person in my life that said, you know what, I'm okay with just being mediocre, work at McDonald's my whole life, not really make too much money. Like, that's not something you hear people say. And I know we're making this a big deal because it is. It really is a big deal. You're setting up your mind. Your mind is
It's a sponge.
Yeah, and it's so much more important than just, it's there, it's in our brain. Some people's are bigger than others or whatever. Because once you start setting yourself up for saying, hey, it's okay if, something gets hard, just give up on it, we'll pick it up next year. But once you start doing that in the real world, once you get older, once you start having a job and everything, your boss says, hey, I need you to sell 200 of this product by the end of January. And you're like, well, I have the end of January. I got 2 or 3 weeks. It'll be okay. And then the end of January rolls around and you sold 20. Like, you sold a quick 20 right then and there. You sold 20. You're feeling good. But then the next week rolled around and you're like, man, this isn't working. And instead of trying to figure out a way to push through it, you just stopped and gave up on yourself.
Yep, it's easy. It's easy and it feels good. It feels good in that moment. But then 6 months goes down the road and you realize how far behind you are. Or 30 years goes by and you realize you've done nothing in the last 30 years. Like that. That's my biggest fear right there. Like getting 30 years down the road and realize that I haven't done anything to be better, to improve myself, to make more money, like anything like that. That's scary.
Yeah, and like for me, you said something to me whenever we first started this whole thing, and it was, yes, a lot of people don't know about it, don't know about how important self-help is, and the way your brain works and how routines work and how you start off strong, you start failing, and it's easy to give up. But then right before I left, after our first little meeting for this, you told me, if someone gives you this information saying, hey, this is how you make your life better, you're almost stupid not to take it and not to do something with it. Because this is someone telling you, hey, this is how you make your life better. This is how you make a better life for yourself. This is how you get stronger and more focused and have just more of a drive to get better. If you don't keep up with that, and you just give up on it and say, well, it's okay. And then you start, and the biggest thing I see is that people will give up on their resolutions and then a month later saying, man, why did I give up on my resolution? I can't believe I did that. And then you start complaining about things. But what you're complaining about all could have been resolved if you would have just kept sticking onto it and staying focused. But I guess now that we've just drilled you for the last 5 to 6 minutes, we can really start to focus on how to make a resolution better and how to really be able to stick with it and stay strong with it. Because we're not, I know it sounds like we've just been sitting here bashing you for 15 minutes and adding you about everything. But we really want to see people succeed. I think we can both agree that one of the reasons we really want to do this is that we have some knowledge about this stuff. And I think we can both agree that us passing on this information is just going to help other people. And it'll also help us at the same time, because the more people we can get around us that are like-minded and focused on their goals, I think it'll be the better just for everyone. If we can get a community started, even though, there's hundreds of them out there, if we can get a small community of us started as, accountability partners and just to help each other stay focused and give information, I think that's just setting us up for leaps and bounds of success that nobody can really imagine right now.
Exactly. It's an information age. Information is king, baby.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, how can we revive the real meaning of resolutions, which was to remind you of a firm decision to do or to not do something? How can we do that?
One of the things that I've just really been introduced about 2 weeks ago was this book called The 12-Week Year, and how their thought process on it is, instead of saying, hey, we're going to do this in an entire year, you have a whole year to do all this, and so then you're totally not concerned, I got 11 more months, I'll be fine. You condense something into 12 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever you need to keep yourself motivated. And so you set big goals for the 12 weeks. Throughout that week, you set minor goals. They talked about in the book how the resolution at January is so irrelevant. January has no point into it at all. Whenever we start a new year, that's when people think, okay, this is when I can set my goals.
Right.
But you can do this no matter what, anytime.
And you set them for a whole entire year. You need to shorten this thing up. Like, you can't set yourself, I'm going to lose 50 pounds over the whole entire year. You got to set goals on top of goals on top of goals and break it down like you're talking about 12-week years. So start with 12 weeks. You say you want to lose 15 pounds in 12 weeks. Well, how are you going to do that? You're going to do this. I'm going to work out 30 minutes a day. I'm going to eat under this amount of calories every day. How are you going to do that? I'm going to make my food. I'm going to go to the gym every day. So, it's pretty detailed stuff, but it makes it so much easier when you know exactly what you're going to do.
This is not going to be easy. I'll just go ahead and say it right now. This whole process is not a simple startup. Now, once you get into it, you'll be all right. But, I'm going to be honest. We've spent 3 to 4 hours sitting with each other, talking to each other. Hey, how can we get this going? Like the beginning of the year, which I just roasted myself right there because we waited to the beginning of the year to do this. We sat down at his house and we said, hey, we both want to do this. Neither one of us are getting anywhere. We need to start holding each other accountable. How can we start doing this? And lo and behold, this was one of our ideas to do this. So thank you.
Right on. So I'll just go ahead and go with this, my notes here. The main thing for reviving resolutions is creating goals and sticking to them. Things you can do that. You got routines, reminders, affirmations, accountability partners, and I put whys. So we can go through and talk about each of those, I guess. That's not everything you can do, but that's the key ones that I thought of myself.
Yeah, those are all focus points that me and him have really drilled into hard and found that it's worked for us. But a big key to all this stuff is that there's no right answer. There's no one right answer. Right. You look on different Facebook pages and stuff, there's people with thousands of different routines and thousands of different ways that they keep themselves accountable. Like, it's not just one. But routine is a big one for me. I hate change. I'll just be 100% honest. So this was why the whole goal setting was super hard for me, because I knew I would have to change my life habits to figure out how to do this. I love being in a routine. And me and him, this whole thing started off, at least for me, was a book called The Miracle Morning, written by Hal Elrod. You can go check that out. We'll have links to where you can purchase that at. And that's a big one. That's huge. Definitely. He's just so smart and so studied, I guess would be a good way to put it. He knows what he's talking about. Now, that's the guy, if he says something, I'd take it pretty seriously. Yeah. This guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, that book is really what I base everything I do around. It's like the foundation of me building myself up and creating myself.
It is the Bible of our self-help.
Exactly.
But back to my point, he really focuses on a routine. Get a routine going in the morning. And it can change, it can fluctuate due to time constraints and stuff. But I guess a real small rundown of it, set your alarm for about, 30 minutes, an hour earlier than what you need to wake up. So you can sit down and do the steps he lays out, which are savers, which, if you want me to be 100% honest, I don't remember exactly what all of them stand for, because my routine has evolved throughout my time doing this. So I don't follow exactly his savers method, and we can throw up a little graph or something of savers so you can understand what it is. But the big thing with that is that it sets up a base. It sets you up for a time frame and what you're going to do. Affirmations are huge for me. I've always been a big affirmations person.
Yeah, affirmations are great. It's reaffirming yourself. It's like giving yourself a pat on the back. You say these things to yourself, at least I do, every single day. I have you can have ones that you read that somebody created, like a quote you read every day, or you have ones you create yourself, like, I'm going to do this today. Because I am awesome. I am going to build myself up today. I'm going to do this today. I'm going to kick ass today. I'm going to And it sounds dumb. I mean, it does. It sounds, if you first read them, like, you're gonna talk to yourself like you're freaking crazy. Like we talked about, your mind is a sponge. It's gonna absorb it, and eventually you're gonna tell a difference the way you talk to yourself. You don't, same way you want to talk good to yourself, you also don't want to talk bad about yourself. Like, even if you do something dumb, but God, I'm such an idiot. It sounds like it's not gonna do anything, but over time, your brain starts to believe that, and so affirmations are huge, both negative and positive.
Yeah, another thing about the 12-week year is it talks about turn your "I'm stupid, that was dumb, why did I do that?" into "man, that didn't work out for me, I'll do better next time." And turn the "I should have never done that," turn that into "well, what can I do now?" Positive thinking is huge. I mean, it's probably one of the biggest things into self-help, and self-esteem is massive. I mean, if you can have a good self-esteem, it'll help you out so much. But now let's preference that, saying you don't have to start out having a good self-esteem to be successful in this.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a key requirement. I mean, I know I've read off of his books and his blogs and everything that, I mean, he's had people that started out from zero. I mean, these people had struggled with, what their life means, why are they living, and they started implementing some of these things, the affirmations, the journaling, the reading every day, just all these different things, and it's helped them so much. I mean, he's brought people years and years beyond where they ever thought they would be, just by doing these small things every single day. And I mean, I've seen routines for 2 hours, I've seen routines for 15 minutes. Like, it's the time that works for you, I guess would be the complete easiest way to say this in a short term, is whatever time works for you, set it that way.
Yeah.
And me and him, we talked about this briefly a second ago. We are each other's accountability partners. We talk to each other almost daily, checking up on each other, making sure we're doing okay, making sure, sending each other quotes, motivation. Motivation's a big one too. And I think I thought I would be okay without it, starting this off last year. I thought, I don't need an accountability partner. I can keep myself accountable. Man, I was wrong. That was definitely not the right way to go about it. Having an accountability partner is huge.
It is. Especially, I don't know why, for me it's a big thing. 'Cause I hate disappointing people, even though I guess you wouldn't really be disappointing me to say if you started struggling, but it feels like if I start struggling, you wouldn't be disappointed, but you're holding me accountable because you're my accountability partner. But it's still the same feeling. It'd be the same way if I did disappoint you doing something. I hate that so much. So it makes me really want to try harder than if I was just doing it for myself.
Yeah, that's another big one. Get you somebody that is going to tell it to you straight.
Yeah.
Not dissing on a parent or something, but your parents are normally known for the people that you struggle with something. Hey, honey, you'll get it next time. Come sit down with me. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it right now. You could start it up next year. It'll be okay.
Netflix.
Yeah, come down, watch some Netflix. Let's eat some pizza together. You gotta find someone that's gonna say, "Listen, man, I love you. I know you're struggling, but we gotta get back on the right track, for me and for you." Another thing about that is if you lose your accountability partner, I mean, you're almost losing your wall. I mean, what's keeping you going? For some people, like, that accountability partner is all they have. Especially if you're lacking motivation, lacking self-esteem, that other person in your life saying, "Hey, you got this. You can do it. This is your year. This is your time. Every moment matters." Telling them that is massive. Big stuff.
Another huge thing with goals and setting resolutions or goals, whatever you're going to call it, is why you're doing it. Why you're doing it's a major thing. If you don't have any juice behind it, any meat behind the bones, you're not going to have motivation to do it. You're not going to have any motivation, or I guess whenever you don't have motivation, you won't have the strength to push through it if you don't have a reason. Like, it could be your kids, it could be you want to buy this house, you want to travel the world, or you just want to make yourself better. You see yourself being better, so that's your motivation, is envisioning yourself doing that. And that's one of the I guess biggest things for achieving your goals and resolutions, or whatever you want to say, is why you were doing that.
It's a big one. I just recently got into the whole vision and why I'm doing this stuff. It's been very helpful. Once I figured out, okay, this is why I want to keep doing this. Like, this is like how he said. Once you wake up that day and you're like, man, I'm just not feeling it today. I'm not feeling like waking up. you can say to yourself, man, but I really want to take this vacation with my dream girl, and I know that doing this is going to help me get there. Or, man, I really want to get that job, or I really want to get into that school. And you know that getting up, making sure, and like this isn't, of course, you're thinking, how is waking up in the morning going to help me go to college? But once, if you wake up in the morning with such a good routine, and you're awake and you're focused and you're ready to take on the day, that's huge, because now you're not wasting anything. You're not wasting any part of your day. You wake up, you get that tiredness out of the way, you get focused for the day. So once you get to school or to work or you get started to start studying for whatever you're going to do with the rest of your life, you can really focus in. You don't waste 15 minutes of your study time trying to wake yourself up and trying to prevent yourself from going back to sleep.
Yeah. You talked about visualization, seeing yourself, how that was a big part for you. Is one of the things I do every day is I visualize, part of the Miracle Morning routine, is I visualize myself achieving my goals, visualize my whys, why I'm doing this is because I want to travel the world, I want to, I don't know, I try to think of everything I've envisioned, I vision myself getting married next year and seeing that happen, see myself getting a new house, see myself having kids, since, I don't have kids, sometimes I'll think, would I be doing this? Say if I'm slacking, would I be doing this if my kids were watching me? Am I setting an example for my kids right now, even though I don't have kids? I do that as a visualization. And it always doesn't have to be in your head. You can have actual visual, you can have I think it's called a visualization board or something like that, where you put pictures on a board and you look at that every day instead of doing it in your head. Like pictures of your kids, pictures of, a beach, a plane, a big house, a lot of money, I don't know, anything like that. So you see that and you put that in your head, I'm going to have this. I'm going to achieve this, and you visualize it every single day or however often you want to do it. And it makes a huge difference. Huge difference.
I think definitely visualizing it helps. And it's a hard one. It's definitely not easy. Trying to sit down and visualize something that hasn't happened yet, it's such a weird concept to think about. Yep. And it's hard. It's hard to, how am I going to imagine? But my big thing is it's going to sound weird. You want to get descriptive, but don't set so much time focusing on the details, if that makes any sense. You want to know, I want to get into a house where I'm living comfortably, but you don't have to picture what the wallpaper is going to look like in every room.
Yeah.
If you can do that, if you already have that planned out, that's awesome. Good for you, that's awesome. But if you don't, and you're someone that's just wants to focus on, okay, I want to have a 3-bedroom house, so me, my wife, and my one kid I want to have can live there. We can live there comfortably. We can live there happy. That's awesome. That's all you really need. If you can just sit there and focus yourself in a house doing this, it's the mind's a weird thing. I've found that out throughout all of this stuff. Is your mind is very,
I don't know.
I
just say spongy.
Yeah.
It takes in what is given to it. It doesn't.
Your mind doesn't really know a lot of the times what's right and what hasn't happened yet. So if you can visualize yourself, and of course, you can't visualize yourself with this one girl and hope that happens. Just because you trick your mind into thinking of it doesn't mean you can automatically warp her mind into thinking the same thing. But saying, I want to be able to travel the world. This is an example you gave me. And so you imagine yourself being in an airport, traveling to somewhere. Again, the destination isn't always important. You don't have to know I'm going to this place at this time. Just knowing that you're going to be with someone traveling in an airport. So you're seeing yourself do that. You're focusing on that. And if you really have the drive to do it, you can make your mind think that, that's happening. That's what's going to happen. And so that's what your mind focuses on. Being able to visualize something enough to where your mind doesn't know what's real and what's not is pretty important.
And it doesn't. Your mind, I see it as your mind is separate from yourself. Your mind doesn't know the difference between you thinking something and it actually happening. It makes a difference. It goes back to us talking about you saying things to yourself in your head, or even saying it out loud. Your mind doesn't know the difference if you're joking or if you're just saying it. It's going to absorb it. It's going to have an effect.
That's a big one. Going back to what we talked about earlier, is that if you tell yourself, man, I'm stupid, and you know, in your heart, you're joking, well, your mind doesn't pick up on that all the time. Your mind doesn't really know if you're joking or not sometimes. And I know it sounds weird saying, well, it's my mind. It's the one that makes me think those things. Yes, that happens, but your mind can take it as, man, I'm actually stupid. And so then you start downing on yourself, and so you start I don't know. We can probably throw some studies up there on some screen somewhere and show you.
Yeah, I read something about it. That's why I said that, but
Yeah.
I can't exactly remember where it was. And
So we'll throw some graphics in there, show you some research studies, and we can link some things down below if you guys want to look at whatever. Because again, I mean, we're not PhD and all this stuff. We're pretty much just spitting out what we've read and what we've learned.
yeah.
We're not creating all this on our own. This is all things we picked up from books and podcasts and speeches and just talking to each other.
I'm going to put the notes in the description so you guys can see it, exactly what our notes are. So we're basically just kind of following the notes here, but I'm going to jump down to this quote that kind of goes into what we're talking about. I'll just read it. We mistakenly believe that who we were is who we are, thus limiting our true potential in the present based on our limitations of our past. And that is another huge reason why people give up so easily, is because they think, I've done this before and I failed so easily last time. So what makes this any different? I've failed so many times and I've tried so many times and it never works. So why is this going to be any different? That's a mistake we make. We believe that who we were is who we are now. But the truth is, your past is your past. What's happening right now is whatever you want it to be. Whatever you create is going to happen from the present forward. The past does not have an effect on your future, what you are now. You are creating that constantly.
Yeah, definitely. Everything I've watched, read, heard, talked about, every moment matters. That's the reoccurring theme in everything I've seen, every book I've read, and I say every book by meaning I've read 2 books. Everything I've watched, I've watched quite a few things, but I've read like 2 books. Anyways, everything I hear, every person I hear talk about it, and that is quite a few people. I've watched a few different people, so that's a more reliable source there, I should say. They all talk about every moment matters, because that goes back to setting, instead of the year resolution, set a monthly resolution or something. Yeah. Every moment matters. If you can take advantage of every moment, make every moment your best moment, there's no reason you shouldn't be successful in what you want to do. I know it sounds far-fetched and stuff, but your life is what you want to make it. No matter how old you are, no matter where you're at in life, if you really, really have the drive and you really want to change yourself, you can. Like, just because you're in this situation now and it seems so far out that you're going to get that job, if you really, really set your mind to it, you focus, you set the goals, you visualize these things, you find a routine that works for you, you think positively to yourself, there's nothing stopping you. The only thing stopping you from achieving what you want is yourself.
Yeah.
Quote Nathan Craven. Not really. I'm sure that's been said thousands of different times by thousands of different people.
Yeah. What you were just talking about leads into this next quote, which both of these quotes are Hal Elrod. I'm assuming that's how you say his name. It's from The Miracle Morning, which, again, please read that. Your entire life changes the day that you decide you will no longer accept mediocrity for yourself, when you realize that today is the most important day of your life. And I have that quote, not the whole quote, but actually just that last part. When you realize today is the most important day of your life, make every single day the most important day of your life so you can make strides towards your goal every single day. If you have that mindset that today is the most important day of my life, every single day, man, that's major key.
Another big one I want to preface about this whole thing, I probably should have thrown this in at the very beginning. Failure is okay. I know we're talking about how your resolutions, like, if you fail them, you suck. That's probably what it sounds like throughout this whole thing, but it's not. I promise you that. We should probably throw something in at the beginning about this.
I mean, we're not saying that people... We're not dogging on people failing. We're dogging on people that are giving up. And they're making a joke. They're not trying. If you try and fail, that's... I guess I wouldn't say it's good, but it's not bad. I mean, the key is to keep going. You try again, and you put all your energy into it, and you don't just make it a joke like we were saying earlier.
Yeah, I mean, because I told you I've been going at this for about half a year now, but I've been trying to do this for the past 2-3 years of my life, and I just keep failing. And a big one is because I wasn't motivated enough. I had no drive. I had no reason. I saw someone else doing it. I saw how successful he was being. I was like, maybe if I do what he does, I'll be successful. So I started doing it. I had no why. I had no reason behind it. It was just, hey, this is something new to do. This is cool. I can relate it to if you ever bought something brand new, you're like, this is the best thing ever. Play with it for a week, and then stop playing with it, goes away, never care about it again. That's what I was with this whole self-improvement Miracle Morning thing. I do it for a week. I was on top of the world. I just, focused in school, everything like that. Then week 2, week 3 would roll around. I was like, you know what, sleeping sounds good today, and then it just fade away.
Right.
So again, I mean, I've not been successful with this. I'll just be 100% honest. I have failed way more times than I can count. I've had days where I'll wake up and say, you know what, today's not my day, and go back to bed, wake up at 9, 10 o'clock, realize to myself that was dumb. I just wasted 4 or 5 hours of my day because I was too focused on sleeping than I was making myself better. And if you look up, Steve Jobs, all these successful people, they all have a routine. They have a morning. They get up. I mean, you're successful people. And I'm sure there's exceptions. I'm sure you can throw an exception out there. But a lot of the successful people wake up early in the morning to get things done. I can't think off the top of my head of a successful person I know that sleeps until 1 o'clock in the morning, watches Netflix till 5 o'clock in the afternoon, does studying for an hour and a half, and makes $1 million business. I mean, this stuff is hard work. I just, again, wanted to throw it out there that failing is okay. Being vulnerable is okay. You have to open yourself up to know that I'm going to struggle with this. I'm not going to be Mr. Macho Man that does it all the time and is perfect at it. Being able to accept the fact that you are going to struggle and being vulnerable is okay. If you can get those through your mind, it'll help you out so much.
Yeah. There's no... To me, I think I put this on here. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. It was, there's success, and then there's... I don't remember the exact language it was. There's success, and then there's learning. You learn from your failures. If you fail, like we said, it happens. Everybody fails. If you don't ever fail, you're never going to learn. So you fail, and the key is to learn. Ask yourself why I failed. How did this happen? And learn from it, and turn that failure into success.
Yeah, I mean, because it's really, if you can learn from what you failed, you're going to get better. And this whole thing is about getting better. If you can accept the fact that, hey, I failed today. I didn't do what I was supposed to do. Like with my whole 12-week thing. I failed this week. I failed at 3 or 4 things this week, but I know why. I'm not thinking to myself, man, I'm stupid. I didn't do these things. I'm going to give up. It didn't work. I'm going to give up. This is over. I'm stupid. I will never get it done. I know why it didn't work out, and so I'm going to learn from that. My big thing this week was planning. I didn't plan ahead. I didn't plan my week out, so I had too much stuff crammed into one day that I couldn't get what I wanted to get done accomplished. And so that's one of my things I'm going to have to work on for the next week. And that's another big reason why setting small goals for a week is so important, because you can find these things out after a week instead of after a year. You didn't waste a year, you just struggled for a week. You fix that week into the next week. Steadily improving is the big thing for all this. And you're just going to get better and better as you continue to focus and grow throughout this whole process.
Yes, sir. I got a quote. This can relate to all the youngins out there, including me and both of us. Now, I love this quote because you think of rappers. You think of, they don't care. They don't give a frick. They just do whatever they want. But these guys, I don't want to say all of them. Most of them, you don't get success on accident. Like, they're doing something right. They're out there hustling. They're doing very similar things to what we're talking about. And this is a quote from Wiz Khalifa that he actually put on Twitter. He said, "I used to think going to sleep late was cool, till I realized waking up early is the real boss shit." Like, even this guy, you think of Wiz Khalifa, smoking weed. He don't care. I mean, he's doing whatever, just chilling.
Making millions of dollars, making songs. This guy probably smokes weed all the way into the night, wakes up at 12 o'clock in the morning, and he's a success.
But he's out there balling for a reason. Like, he's doing this stuff we're talking about. All of them are.
And I mean, yes, you'll have your one hit. I mean, your guys that do something popular and it's bam, it's successful. Like, we're not saying that this is the only way to become successful. People are going to get lucky.
Yeah.
There's people out there that have gotten lucky, and it's good for them. I mean, I'm not dogging on them at all. If you're successful, I mean, you're successful. I mean, I can't slam on you or anything. But like right here with that example, I mean, this guy is, I'm sure he's making more money than I could probably count up to.
You can count to 7, right?
I can count to 7. So this is, he's making big figures right now.
I wouldn't take it too literally, He's saying that, I take it this way. I mean, he is literally saying sleeping late. He used to think sleeping late was cool, staying up, partying, not giving a F about nothing, waking up late. It was cool. But then he realized that waking up early, grinding, getting in the right mindset, starting your day off on the right foot, it's really a mindset thing. You can tell, he knows. Like, he's
He's figured it out.
He's a successful guy. And he didn't do it on accident. It didn't happen on accident. He knows what he's doing.
And you can go back to the whole preschool analogy to where, every building starts with a solid foundation.
Yep.
If you're building a house on sand, one rain's going to come in and wipe your whole house away.
Yep.
So you have to start. Think of that as your day. If you start your day off building your house on sand, and then about 12 o'clock in your day, something happens you don't like. Something screws up. That's your rain. That's the rain coming in, wiping your house away. Now your whole day is ruined. But if you can start yourself off positively with a focused mindset of saying, I'm going to finish this day strong. Stuff's not going to go my way. I know it. But I have to fight through the adversity to get where I want to be. That's building on concrete. If you can start off that day strong, that's your concrete. Everything else from there up is going to be sturdy. Your rain's going to come in, try to wipe you away, but your foundation's so solid that it won't have an effect on you.
Diamond foundation.
Exactly.
Some strong stuff.
Another preface I want to make is that day one's going to feel great, day two's going to feel great. It's not always going to feel that way.
Yeah, which is why you have whys.
And that's what's going to set apart your triers and your doers. I guess I know neither one of those are really words, but you're going to have people that are going to try this, they're going to fail, they're going to give up. And then you're going to have those guys, those ballers out there that are going to wake up on, day 7 or 8, realize, man, I'm not really feeling it today, but they think to themselves, this is going to make me better. They get up and they push through it. And that's where your success is going to come from. Your success is not going to come from your easy days that everybody has. What's going to set you apart from all your coworkers and all your friends is you pushing through adversity.
Yep.
If you can do that, you're in pretty good shape, my friend.
I got another quote. I think this is... No, actually, I got 2 more, but I'll start with this one. And I guess this is kind of... I'll just read it first. Stop setting goals. Goals are pure fantasy unless you have a specific plan to achieve them. Obviously, we're not saying... I don't think he's saying either to not set goals. What he's saying is, like we were saying earlier, don't set huge, overarching goals of, in 5 years, I want to own a 5,000 square foot house, and then not have a plan to get there. That's pure fantasy, like he said. You have to have goals on top of goals on top of goals. You have to have a plan to get there, like you were talking about how you didn't have a plan this week, so you didn't get the goals. You have to plan, you have to have steps, you have to know what you're going to do. I mean, you might not know exactly what you're going to do, but you have to take the little steps which will eventually guide you to get that overarching goal.
Exactly. Being specific with goals is a big one.
Yeah.
If you said, hey, I'm going to lose weight this year, you can go through the whole year, lose 1 pound, and you technically reached your goal. I'm assuming that's probably not what your goal wanted to be, but you can lie to yourself and say, hey, I lost 2 pounds. I lost some weight. I guess that counts.
Yeah.
But where the real success comes from is saying, once May rolls around, I'm going to have lost 15 pounds of fat and gained a few pounds of muscle. Whether that's, of course, I can make it a goal off the top of my head. But the more specific you get, the easier it's going to be to track your progress and see how good you're going. If it's, I'm going to eat less calories in a day, or I'm going to eat 1,500 calories today. The second one is so much easier to reach than the first one is.
Yeah, because if you don't set a specific goal, you're not going to, like you said, you're not going to know when you hit it. You're not going to have that good feeling of, I reached this goal. At least for me, if I say I want to, because I want to gain weight. So if I say I want to gain weight and I gain 5 pounds, if I had just said I want to gain weight and I only gained 5 pounds, I was like, well, why didn't I gain 10 pounds? But if I set my goal for I want to gain 5 pounds and I did it, and I'm like, I did it. So now I can make it another 5 pounds, another 5 pounds.
Setting small goals isn't setting yourself up for little success. Setting small goals is getting your mind right. My goals right now are not, to make $1 million and own 15 houses to where I can travel anywhere. I have small goals right now because I want to build up that success so my body's like, hey man, I can do this. Setting yourself up for success is awesome. But that also doesn't include saying, I'm going to gain 1 pound this whole year. And so you do it and you're like, hey, I did it. Set tough goals for yourself. But don't be upset if your goal is to gain 5 pounds and you gain 5 pounds in a month. Because you're like, man, it's just 5 pounds. I can gain that back eating one meal. But you did it. That's the thing. You set that goal and you achieved it. You start doing that more and more often, that 15 pounds is going to be super easy for you. You're going to know, hey, I made it to 5 pounds 3 different times. Put that together, I can make it to 15 pounds. I know I can do this because I've made it throughout my other goals.
Yeah.
I think that was another big one for me was I would set massive goals for myself. Yeah. And then once I didn't see success after a week, I was like, well, why am I even doing this? Like, yeah, I was becoming successful, and I was getting better, but I didn't see it because it was so far away. Yeah. But if I say, hey, I'm going to eat this many calories a day for this whole week, if I see, hey, man, I succeeded at that 4 different times this week. I mean, yeah, I screwed up 3 different times, but I did it 4 different times, so I know I can do it. You know, you build up that confidence in yourself, and the more confidence you have, the easier this is going to be. I mean, I feel like it's probably a given, but
yeah.
Leave you with this quote. Do actions now that your future self will thank you for. And I think that one kind of explains itself.
Yeah.
You know, big thing I think about a lot is what I'm doing right now. Will I think back on it in 15 years and be like, man, I'm so grateful I did that. You know, that really helped me. Or am I going to think, what was I doing? Why was I sitting there eating popcorn, watching that movie after I'd already watched 6 different movies today when I could have been being more successful? And, of course, we're not saying anything non-productive is horrible in your day. I mean, you can still do unproductive things sometimes. Like, watching Netflix isn't going to kill you as long as you're not watching 14 episodes a day when you could be studying. But if you get a good half an hour study session in, you can reward yourself with a episode or 2 of whatever your favorite show is. Yeah. Like, it's not bad.
It feels better whenever you, like, I feel better if I go work out and then do something, like, I don't know, play video games for a little bit. I feel so much better when I work on myself, work on a project, work on something to better myself or move forward on something, and then reward myself with this time of just doing whatever I want to do, something that makes me happy, something that I just enjoy to do that doesn't necessarily improve myself, but in the long run, I think it does. Rewarding yourself with time off is definitely a huge thing that you definitely need to do, or else you're going to get burnt out, and then you're really going to give up.
Oh, yeah. I had a challenge I want to leave everyone with, all 3 of you listening to this. Set a small goal for yourself. Reach that goal, be successful with it, and just see how much better you feel afterwards. And then, I mean, definitely, if you can, I mean, there might be a smaller kid listening to this that doesn't have any money. If you can go buy that Miracle Morning book, I promise you, I'm making you a promise, and I don't make promises I can't keep. If you get that book, you read it, and you live by it, you're going to be successful. I mean, This is all going to work out for you. And I can link, I read the book, about a year ago, but I rewatched a talk he had about it, pretty much discussing what the book means in a brief way. By brief, I mean it was like an hour, but it was big. I mean, it helped me realize what's going on. So if you're not one for spending money on something you don't know, watch the video I put down below here. Watch it. If it's something you want to dive into, the book's big. I mean, the book really gets specific on these things. So I think that'll be big.
Yeah. And that's not, at least to me, that's not the only book that I mean, that's probably the most important one I've read to me personally. But there's other ones that are major keys. And they all talk about these very similar things. There's little differences where you can get more out of this book for this thing than the other book. But yeah, I'd say there's about 3 or 4 that I really, really like, and we can put those down there too. But that one, Miracle Morning, is definitely I guess you could say, part of my foundation.
That's part of our concrete, I guess, for our overall goals.
Yeah,
is living by that. And if you're not a reader, I mean, there's audiobooks out there. I've found audiobooks are big helps for me.
Yep.
Because I hate reading a lot.
I really used to hate reading. Well, I don't want to say hate. I don't like reading just books just to read. Like I really like reading self-help books and entrepreneurship books and motivational books. Like I freaking ran through some really at the beginning. Like we're talking about, you had that high in the beginning. I think I read like 3 books in 1 week when I first started, which obviously that's not sustainable. It's kind of insane. But now one of my goals is to read a book a month. So I mean, pace yourself.
Yeah, but definitely, yeah. I mean, I think this week, set yourself a goal. Doesn't have to be huge. Don't make it to make $1 million.
Just do it.
Yes, it says it on your shirt right there. Just do it.
Yes, it does.
Get yourself a goal. If you set yourself a goal and you follow through with it, that's a huge step. Once you feel that high from finishing that goal and saying, hey, man, I can do this, and you start implementing some positive things in your life, it's going to help. I mean, it just will. So, yeah, thank you all for listening. you big crowd out there.
Yeah, this was fun.
Oh yeah, we'll be back.
We're
back in the studio, and so we'll make some different series out of this. It won't all be motivational. I mean, we're big sports guys too, so we'll do some sports and break it down. But yeah,
just about anything we really feel like. Anything you ever request, all three of you out there. Hey Sydney, how's it going?
Thanks Mom, thanks Dad.
She probably isn't even listening.
Yeah, but if you guys, if there's something you want us to talk about, see what our opinion is on it, or if there's something you guys want to bring up, we're all ears.
Yeah. If you guys enjoyed it, please share it. We aren't like, big. We're not. I guess you say creators. We're just sharing information that's already out there. You want to. Well, we'd love to create a community and have people that can just talk to each other. Like talking to people about this stuff is huge.
Oh yeah,
so you
sure.
can see the other people going through the same thing with accountability partners.
Being relatable, having a relatable person is huge.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think. I would love. if this gets big, sweet. But it's not the reason we're doing it. I want to help someone.
Yeah.
It's always been a big thing for me. I want to be able to help somebody. And I know there's somebody out there that needs to hear this. Needs to have someone say, "Hey man, this is what you got to do." Because for me, of course everybody wants to be successful, but I didn't know where to start. I didn't know how to start doing this. And I don't know how long this is. It's probably getting up towards
probably like
45 minutes to an hour. So if you're here at the end, you may have skipped here, but you made it to the end, so thank you. But yeah, please share. I'm not going to force you to do anything. If you want to drop a like, that'd be great too. But yeah, please share it, because I think even if this didn't really help you, it may help somebody else. If we can get to one person, help one person out, that'll be great for me. That's all I can ask. I want to help somebody, because I know there's someone out there that was like both of us, that wanted to get better but doesn't know how. And hopefully this can be a basis for you to start.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you all for listening.
Right on.
And we'll see you back here whenever.
Peace.